What it basically does is, this is our head area. So if we have a lot of headaches, it shows up in our eyes around here. It goes down our body, and you can see here's our back. So if we have, let's say, an accident, it actually shows up in our eyes as a brown dot. Or if we have an acidic body, it shows up as the tissue being like inflammation. But it's very, very precise, and it's quite an easy science to learn because it is so precise. At the ranch, they had 3 big areas. Well, one was like a trough, and Dr. Jensen got us to walk barefooted, it was still our knees, through this icy cold water that he had in this trough. And we had to walk quite forcefully, and he said that's for circulation. We have to get things circulating again. He also had the white, fluffy, thick sand that we have on our beautiful beaches here in Byron Bay. And we had to walk for at least 20 minutes through that. And that got everything in our feet going, all the muscles and also the circulation. And then he would have a beautiful grass area with long, thick, lush grass that we also had to stroll through barefooted. And that would take out any toxins and also start circulating. And when we asked him, why is that important? He said, well, whatever speed it circulates down there, through your feet, it also circulates up here. So if you don't want any brain fog, do this. Walk through the water, and then walk through the sand, and walk on our grasses, because that circulation will also bring oxygen to our brain. One is that if you want the answers to come to you, if you want to be aware, there is a higher self, and we are one with our higher self, and through meditation we can get all the answers. 60% we have to eat raw, and the reason why we have to eat raw is because the juices that digest raw food, if we don't eat raw, if you don't use it, you lose it. And in countries like Germany, we were talking about before, they say to blanch all your veggies because they can't physically digest their vegetables anymore because they are so used to having it cooked. Now, 80% has to be alkaline. 20%, I'll put it here, acidity. So that really is the crux of a balanced diet. We have to eat 80% alkaline, which is all your greens and your, I'll show you my tip. 20% is acidity, but that also is 10% protein and 10% starch. Now you don't have those two together because that's a really bad combination. You either have your protein with your veggies or you have your starch with your veggies. But in the one meal, do not have those together. Your body struggles digesting those at the same time. Because our body follows our brain. So if we can't be happy, then our body cannot be happy. So we listened to this and we said, well, you need to forgive. You need to forgive those who hurt you in the past. We've all heard the saying, you must forgive, not for that person, but for yourself. Well, how do you do that? How do you actually forgive somebody? It's easier said than done. Those who hurt us the most, those who have raped, been unfaithful, the girlfriends who stab us in the back, the real hurts that we have, these are the souls that have come down especially for us to learn a lesson. And the lesson is that we have to to love ourselves more, so that the vibration that we attract is. But we are meant to eat 80% alkaline food and 20% acidic food. Now, you say, well, that's okay then to have a hamburger because we need to eat 20% acidic. And I will say no, because it's not the acidity that I'm talking about. I'm talking about, let's say, nuts. Oh, nuts are acidic, apart from the almond nut. Walnuts are quite acidic. But what it does, when we eat it, it alkalines our stomach. Lemons are clearly an acidic fruit. But if you have warm lemon juice first thing in the morning with water, it will alkaline our stomach. Now, why is that important? Well, for our body to be happy, we need to eat foods that is in this area. And they are our grains and, our pulses and just our health food. But really, they should not be called health food, they should just be called food. Unfortunately, most of our foods belongs in this category, the acidic category. This is your meats, your dairy, your breads, your pastas, all your junk food, your chips. Age is within the 0 to 14. Neutral is 7. Humans, us, we are 7.4, so we are slightly alkaline. Humans. Our food, I'll just show you. Our foods also have an alkalinity and an acidity. And what this graph represents is basically everything that's green is alkaline. It belongs into this group, about 10 right here. Everything that's yellow and light orange is neutral or thereabouts. And everything that's red is acidic. How often do we hear, especially teenagers, say, oh, I hate my bum, or I hate my hair. How do you think your bum feels when it hears you say that you hate it? Seriously. How do you think your hair feels when you say, I hate my hair? Well, how about people who have leukemia? Would they wish they had hair? It's all perspective, and we need to love our bodies, all of it. Into our lives will change. Our frequency, the people sitting next to you, the frequency between you and them isn't that much, it might only be 2%. The fact that you're in the room with me means that your frequency is very similar to mine. Now, the most alkaline chemical element is sodium. Now, I'm not talking about our salt, our table salt. That is not even a food. That should not even be used. Sodium is in our parsley, our celery, our spinach. That is the highest sodium food. But all greenery would have some sodium. Dulse, like our seafood, our not animal seafood, but our nori sheets, and that is the highest in sodium. Why is sodium so important? Well, it keeps calcium fluid. So when we play piano and our fingers are flexible, we have to have sodium in order to keep the calcium in our fingers flexible. So every time a child has a snotty nose, earaches, tonsillitis, skin rashes, allergies, bronchitis, asthma, it means it has too many toxins inside of its system and it wants to throw it out. An example of this is a goat. You know goats? They are flexible, they can climb trees, they jump, they eat everything. They are also a sodium mammal. Compare that to a cow. A cow is a calcium animal. It doesn't need to jump or climb trees, it just needs to be stationary. It needs strong bones just to always have it up in that position. That is the difference. We are an alkaline sodium being, and with animal protein, and especially dairy foods, we take a calcium animal's milk, we become like that, we become stiff. Not only that, osteoporosis is caused by animal protein. And how does that work? Well, every time we have animal protein, the next time we go to the toilet, we actually pee out calcium. Because a patient cured is a customer lost, really. So we have to think in kindness, talk in kindness, and we have to act in kindness. Yeah? Now, these foods here are alive foods. The chi, or its energy, or the frequency of these foods are very high. If you can only grow a little bit of your own organic food, let's say a lettuce, and you break off a leaf, that leaf has enough energy or positive chi in it to last you for the day. Compared to the foods that we buy at the supermarket, the energy is a lot less. However, you compare it to these foods, there is no energy. In fact, this is very dense, extremely dense food. It has no life left in it. And that needs to come out because meat putrefies. Today it's 28 degrees outside. Our body is 37 degrees. That's pretty hot. Imagine taking a piece of steak or a piece of fish and put it on the pavement on a 37-degree day, the environment. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to start smelling, it's going to go off, it's going to get putrid. We will have to remove the meat of our pavement because the smell will get too bad. We can't do that when we eat it. It's stuck inside our system at 37 degrees for at least 24 hours. When someone's eaten sheep, I can smell it. And I say to her, oh, you had lamb last night. And they go, you're soaking. I said, no, I can smell you. Because our skin is the biggest organ. It wants to expel that big lump of negativity. Spiritually, our higher self, which we talked about before, what would they want for us? They love us, we're one with God or Buddha, with my higher self. They want the best for us. Surely they want us to eat live foods compared to the dead foods. Can you really be a person, a spiritual person, in truth, if we eat a product that is brought up in suffering? A farmed animal will ever die of starvation or not having clean drinking water. And the reason why we give it to them is because we want to eat meat. So where does our conscience lie? Every time we give $1 to the shop to purchase this, it's like a vote. Yes, I will support this industry. I will support the meat industry or dairy industry. We don't think about the starving people in our world. We grow enough food, and I'm talking about edible grains, edible soy and edible corn that we could have given to the starving people in our world, and we didn't. We gave it to our animals. Unfortunately, our animals they're not designed to eat all that, so their life is they eat the foods that are not right for them. They are in horrific conditions, which I don't need to tell you about. You know how they are being raised. And people say to me, oh, but I eat organically free-range animals. also go to the same abattoir. The people that work at the abattoir, they are sadistic, they are cruel, they have no patience.
And they have to be.
They have to be. Their frequency, and I totally agree with you, Celia, their frequency is at a level that is still within us. It's because of us that they are there. Yeah? But if they kick one pig and they whatever they do to one pig, the other pigs see this. And the adrenaline of these pigs, they are full of fear. They know they're going to get killed. They are trembling. And they are one piece of misery. And you eat that? Seriously? You think that our higher self goes, yeah. No. You've brought suffering to that animal. The animal meat industry produces more pollution than our buses, trains, cars, aeroplanes, motorbikes, all put together. All put together. Our meat industry still produces more pollution. So, how do you think it goes spiritually? Well, let me tell you something. We can make up all the excuses in the world. And it's our choice whether we eat meat or not eat meat. But the truth, the lesson in it all, will never ever give us a choice. The lesson in this will always stay the same. And it's just whenever we are ready to take that path that will come across veganism over and over again, and we'll learn something about it again and again until we are ready to up our frequency. Because when we do, believe me, our spiritual self will be joyful. Because how can you be a person of enlightenment and eat flesh of another? Stay away from acidic foods. It gives us pain. It's too dense. Our stomach is only the size of our fist. That's it. It's not bigger than that. Each meal should not be bigger than our fist. We need to change our thinking. We need to be okay with growing, throwing out the old, putting in the new. We have to start being okay with it. To do what our forefathers did is not going to work anymore. I know it's like an insult to our mothers to eat different to what they eat, but we need to educate them. It's time to educate them. And today, if you walk away with anything, be fiercely curious. Be curious, ask questions. Don't just say, yeah, or don't just believe. Find things out for yourself. You have to be curious, stay very curious. Now, I think that's about it, but I'm happy for you to ask questions, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much. The combination you just said, your spirulina, chlorella, and wheatgrass, dried in powder form is the best, only because our body can absorb it so much easier than in pill form. Personally, if our body have to struggle in order to digest it, it's not worth my while. I like for food to be extremely easy digestible, and as you said, we can take stuff to compensate, but why do it in the first place? Again, B12, that's the big controversial. Yeah. Well, look at the societies that don't eat meat, like in India. They get their vitamin B12 from the dirt. Vitamin B12 vitamin is actually not a vitamin at all. It's actually bacteria that our body makes to fight dirt.
From the roots of vegetables.
Yes. That's why you can't wash the mushrooms, because a little bit of dirt on the mushrooms, that is your vitamin B12. You eat lentils, that is your vitamin B12, because lentils aren't washed, especially in India, they just eat it from the ground. They have no deficiency deficiency in vitamin B12. It is actually the dirt that we eat. Now, if we want to garden, when we garden with your bare hands and don't be in such a rush to wash it off. Our soil will give us our vitamin B12. Don't wash your veggies out of the garden, just eat it just like that. It'll give us our vitamin
Have you heard
B12.
of Shiva Ji?
Thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, there's nitrogen balls you're talking about.
Yeah, they are any beans that you grow. They called the nitrogen that's inside those balls that grow on the roots of our plants. When we allow the plant to actually die in the soil, the soil will then become rich with nitrogen. So it's like a green manure. We call it green manure, and we dig it back into the soil. The soil is fed all this nutrition, and we can grow our next crop on top of it. And what Celia is talking about is crop rotation, and usually you have between 4 and 6 beds, and whatever you grow in one bed, you will not grow there again for another, a period of time, because the next time you grow it, it's in the next bed. What it does is, that plant will take, it's all got to do with how much nutrients is in the soil, and I do it in my garden, but I'm so used to it now that I don't even have to think about it. But the plants that need the least amount of nutrition, you plant them last in that bed. And so then you will line your beds again, you put all the stuff into it, all your compost, and then you start again. It's called crop rotation, and the thing is that it keeps the insects away, because the healthier our crops are, our insects are not going to destroy it. They won't be interested in it. It'll encourage the good insects, but it will not weaken, it will strengthen our plants. So it's a really good way to garden, crop rotation, absolutely.
Do you want to say something? I'll switch it off.
Oh, is it still on?
Just go back a fraction.
I can't talk anymore. I've had it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi. Yes.